Hello scrappers and planet lovers, Tin Man here with another video. So today what I want to do is take apart this electric heater. Found it on garbage day, unfortunately it doesn't work. And the nice thing about these fireplace styles as well as your stand-up heaters is they are a great source of scrappable material. I could actually bring this in as is and get electronic weight price, which is about 6 cents a pound in London, Ontario. And this weighs about 26 pounds as is, so that is better than nothing. However, the shell of this is tin. There is some copper inside of it as well as some brass and other good items. And I am going to make a lot more money taking the time to separate those items and bringing them in their own categories. Copper right now is at an all-time high, so anything copper is going to be in our scrappers world, that's scrappers gold. The appliance cord here, going to be worth a lot more too. So very easy to take apart. Going to do that right now. Show you how to identify the material, separate it properly, maximize your profit, and divert this entire thing away from the landfill. So before I begin, I do want to mention that I have found several of these that only had a light bulb that was burnt out. Everything else worked perfectly fine. So I did make the purchase, bought that light bulb, and was able to sell these in good workable condition. And like anything, you are going to make more money selling in good workable condition than a scrap. This one is unfortunately beyond repair, so that is why I'm taking it apart. But I do find styles like this, as well as similar stand-up heaters. So going to just start here. As mentioned, the outer shell is going to be magnetic. Just going to grab my magnet here and put it up to it. So just to show you, there you go. This is all tin. For the sake of time, I have already removed the back panel. So tin right now, going in London, Ontario for 10 to 14 cents a pound. So this is going to be easy to just compact into my truck. Nice thing about this is it doesn't take up a lot of space. But again, just removing that does reveal the goodies inside. This here is on a small motor. It rotates. It gives the fire effect, if you will. But really nice tin, as mentioned. Going to make obviously more money from this than an appliance or electronic weight price. So just going to put that off to the side. Underneath, there is also going to be a motor in here that I want to open up. And the nice thing about this is because this whole frame here is tin, I don't have to remove this little bit of plastic. Gonna leave that on there for the weight. And this is kind of neat. You can see right here, it does have the nice door on it and some on and off switches that are gonna have some brass inside of here. This log is gonna be just left. And some of these items too, if in good condition, you can sell as parts. This wood is actually, or log effect is plastic. It is cracked, so unfortunately I'm gonna have to throw it out. And that's why this whole frame here, just gonna actually leave as is, leaving the glass on here as well, just for the added weight there. So this is a nice style. I wish it did work, but again, glad I'm able to divert it from the landfill. So I'm gonna start actually just with this little motor here, cut off some wire. So there it is. This is actually just a little bit of ticker tape that's going to be garbage, but this little bar here is also going to be going into my tin. And I do want to clarify something. I've had a lot of questions or comments from scrappers saying when I refer to tin shred or steel, those are, different metals. That's not what they're called. These are only categories I refer to at the scrapyard. So tin shred is any type of magnetic material that is thinner than a 1/4 inch. So a lot of your appliance panels like this, washing machines, dryers, ovens, all of that thinner than a 1/4 inch. Any of your steel, anything thicker than a 1/4 inch is like your structural beams, trampoline poles, for example. A lot of your bolts, those can be steel as well. They're about 2 cents more a pound than tin shred. However, for me, it does depend on how much I have. A lot of times my truck is full, majority of it with tin shred. So I'm not going to take the time to go to a different pile in the scrapyard just for a couple extra cents with a little bit of steel. So I do throw it all together, but I do want to make sure I clarify that for people. Here is a nice little motor. This motor, same type of motor you're going to find on your microwaves on the bottom. They rotate the plate. And these are another nice source of scrap material. So just going to actually open it up, show you the copper inside. And this copper is going to be classified as number 2 copper. As I said before, copper has taken a huge increase. Today's date, April 30th, 2024. And right now, number 2 copper is going for $5.20 a pound in London, Ontario. Unbelievable price. So if you have any, great way. If you're trying to get, some room in your garage, great time to do so. Great price for sure in London. And Sarnia, it's about $4.80, so not a huge difference, but again, scrapper's gold. So just gonna open this. All I'm actually gonna do is take a hammer, just gonna hit that on my vise. The back panel here will open to reveal a nice little copper spool. So there you go. Just gonna take this out the side. Again, this is some more tin, or here we go. Inside of here, there is a few little gears. These gears, I'm just gonna actually put off to the side. Underneath this, there is a small little magnetic plate, but inside there is the copper. Look at that copper glistening right there. Put that up to the camera. So number 2 copper. And I do also want to mention that I was actually recently at the scrapyard, and they told me any type of your really nice shiny copper like this, it is not going to be bare bright, because bare bright is any type of copper that is thicker than 1/4 inch. But because this is very shiny, this one actually has a little bit of discoloration, but some of them are shiny, very, very bright. I do have a little example there. I'm going to show you this one. This is just another example. So showing you the difference. So this one actually would not classify it, but if I compared these, this one, it's kind of hard to tell in this light, but this is very, very brand new looking. And this I actually have started to put off into a separate bag. They will give me number 2 clean price, so it's a couple cents more than number 2. It does depend on how much you have, but for me, I do find tons of microwaves. So your little spool like this, as well as there is going to be a small fan motor inside of your microwaves too. A lot of times that have this really nice bare bright color. So putting that off to the side into a bag, you will get a couple cents more than number 2. But this one here, because it does have a little bit of tarnish color on it, this is just going to be number 2. So there you go. You can see the little difference there. So not bare bright, but it will be a little higher than number 2. So that is something that has recently come up. Just was told that by one of the people at the scale house. Again, I'm not sure if all scrap yards will follow that rule. I think it also depends on who's running the scale at the same scrap yard. So that's what he told me. I'm going to try it as an experiment. But either way, these are still going to be number 2 at $5.20 a pound. So it does depend on you if you want to separate it. Worst case scenario, they're just going to lump it together anyway and give you number 2. But if I have a bag of this, I get a couple cents more for doing the same thing. Why not try it? So again, nice little motor there. On the back, there is also some wire here. And this light bulb, again, sometimes if you plug it in and the light bulb works, you can try and reuse them on certain things, depending on the style. There are different portholes, if you will. So try to see if that works. But the bottom here is where the motor is. And I first want to just cut this appliance wire. This appliance wire here, putting up to the camera, you can see inside of it, there are 2 strands of copper wire. This right here is classified as 40% appliance wire at the scrapyard. And currently, the price of this has jumped in London. It was last week $1.67. It is currently $1.97 right now in London, Ontario for 40% appliance wire. So unbelievable price. All of your appliance wire, your cords, vacuum cleaner cords, dehumidifier cords, all of those 40%. So now again, for that is the time to buy as well. Some people will leave the brass on here for the weight. I take this off. These are going to be coated brass. Same category as yellow brass, but brass right now too has jumped. It is currently going for $3.50 a pound in London, Ontario as well. So I have a nice big bucket of brass prongs. but it does depend on the scrapper. Some people also will say that they actually remove the outer coating to get the number 2 copper. So I don't do that for appliance wire, but it all depends on the scrapper. But again, $1.97 a pound for this 40% appliance wire. I'm not going to complain about that. Okay. Inside, again, just going to remove the last few screws here. Uh-oh, there it is. I'm trying to find the screw to this. I'm going to just pull out the last few screws, open this up if I can. You can see a nice little collection of cobwebs on here. This has been saved up for a while. I'm finally getting around to getting to it, but just going to try and open this case here. Okay, a few screws. I had someone ask me, why don't I use a drill? It goes quicker. And yes, I agree, it does, but for me, this is kind of therapeutic, if you will. There are just a few screws, like I said, and it's also kind of nice tinkering around without the noise of a drill. Kind of like the peace and quiet. So just going to get the last 2 screws here. 1, 2. And my screws, I do collect, put them into a bin. Also get some tin price for those. So I do not waste any of my items. And the nice thing about when I scrap, I have not had to buy screws. I just take them off of my items that I scrap. So that's kind of nice. Never had to purchase more. Last one, here we go. Get this box off. So again, this cover is also going to be tin shell, tin scrap. Gonna get the tin price for this as well. But inside of it's gonna have a small little motor as well. A lot of cobwebs, like I said, I'm just trying to feed through right now. Probably disturbing a few spiders, so I apologize for that, you little guys, but you're gonna have to find another home. So here we go. Get the last few screws out of here. Okay. Inside, oh, got a couple on the bottom. Get these last ones. Don't want to disturb or break this glass. So, getting it out here. It is very dark today for April 30th. It's been raining all day, so no better place to be than in the garage and cleaning up a little bit of mess and getting a video done. So here we go, last little bit. Last screw inside. There we go. So I'm just going to clear away. This wire that I'm going to cut away here too is going to be, just to look at it, okay, all of this wire inside, I am going to cut it out after camera, probably get all of it. It runs all the way in here. But again, all of this is going to be the 40% appliance wire as well. So a lot of it in here. But other than that, the rest of this is just going to be thrown right into my tin. I will put final weights at the end in my comment section, but inside of here is a nice little fan. That is either going to be aluminum or stainless steel. There is a little motor. So this is really similar makeup to your microwaves. So just going to quickly get to this, figure out, I think it's just to be dropped down. A couple screws, hopefully this is it. Picking up some more cobwebs. It's amazing how many I have right here. It's almost like I'm picking up spaghetti. There we go. So again, I'm going to say nice little bit of tin, nice copper wire. Like I said, lots of nice 40%, but that little motor in there too is going to be number 2 copper as well. That's definitely worth going to get. So it just dropped. There it is. So again, nice little shell here, tin. Okay, so there's my little motor. There is an aluminum grill here. This aluminum grill is actually worth, I think they say $1.50 right now in London, Ontario. There is going to be some glue that connects to it. So different category than your clean aluminum radiators. Sometimes you'll get aluminum radiators from dehumidifiers. Your copper aluminum radiators right now going for over $3 a pound. So dehumidifiers, air conditioners, those are going to be different than your heater styles like this. So I'm hoping I can just release it with this last screw. get it out. So it is connected. There we go. So there you go. A little bit of wire that I'm going to get off. On there, there is going to be a little bit of brass connecting. So I will get all that little bit of brass. But a small little heating element or heating coil. I do want to check first actually to see if it is magnetic. Sometimes they can be aluminum. Sometimes they will be magnetic. So this one here is actually, these coils are magnetic. So this is going to actually just be tin. Just going to throw it right into tin. But there are some non-magnetic. Those are your aluminum ones. So easy test. Aluminum is non-magnetic. But the rest of this shell does have some plastic. Going to leave that on, but I will get that brass. Here is my motor right here that you see, this small guy here. Once I remove that tape, there's going to be some copper under that. So this is very similar to your motors that you see on a microwave. So a couple little screws. Just going to get these out. Okay, so put this in. Gotta make sure I have the right screw head on here. Maybe that's going to help. There we go. So I got a few screws, different sizes, different bolts. Power trick of my scrapping. I just got to make sure this stays in the screwdriver. So I might change this up a little bit. But just going to pull this head off. I'm just trying to speed it up here just to show you. This is going to have a motor, okay, that's going to be connected here. It does have a few screws. A few screws are connected. But inside, we'll remove that. These are easy to take out. Okay, so just going to actually put it in my vise and pull off that little bit of copper. So doing that right now, just removing this. Okay, so there we go. Okay, I do want to check this for you. I have a grinder set up here, and just to see if this is actually going to be aluminum or stainless steel, I use what we call the spark test. If I hit this with a grinder and it sparks, it's going to be stainless steel, non-magnetic stainless steel. And currently right now, that is paying 77 cents a pound. If I hit that and it's non-magnetic and it doesn't spark, it's aluminum. So just going to tell right now, I always use this test. I did have someone just ask me, is there a different style of equipment I can use for the spark test? I don't know any other. Grinders are just easy because they give off sparks. There is different things, different tests. You can see sometimes it will say on the bottom if it's aluminum or stainless steel. Weight-wise, unfortunately, aluminum can be heavy, but a lot of times stainless steel is more heavy. But again, for me, the grinder test, the spark test is most conclusive. So just going to show you. So these fins, aluminum, they did not spark. So once I remove them out of here, I'm just going to have to pull the pin off there. It does have a metal rod that goes through it, but all of these side spokes, going to be clean aluminum, going for 45 cents a pound. The rest of this shell is going to be tin, but this is going to be easy to take out. There's just a few screws that you see there, but it's a little bit of clean aluminum. And the last thing, as mentioned, this little motor here inside does have a little bit of copper. So all I'm actually going to do is just put it in my vise. Just going to hit it out. Okay, so put this off to the side. Hopefully you can see that. There we go. So there it is. There's a little bit of copper on here as well. I do remove that copper. I just take a pair of side cutters like this. Just going to take one end, cut it down. Okay, so just to show you here, because it all adds up. I might have to hit it with a grinder. It might be too small to get to. But your microwaves do have this as well. So get that little bit of copper as well. But because this is a smaller one, it's not getting it with my grinder, with my side cutters. But just going to put a little zap in that or a little cut with the grinder and peel it off. So nice copper there. Inside of this, do have to remove my small little piece here. This too is going to go in my tin. And right here, inside of it, just going to pull that flap. Look at this beautiful, beautiful copper. So again, some more number 2 copper, and it just comes right out. Look at that. So nice little ball. This is, as I said, same as your microwaves. They have this nice little bit of copper on the motor that drives the fan. So again, some beautiful beautiful copper. Just put it into a bag, you know, in a bunch, store it up, and it will add up in time. So very easy to take apart. As you can see, the rest of this, once I remove this nice 40% wire, is just going to go right into my tin. I do want to actually quickly look at the little on and off switch. There are a few on here. There is also a small relay box, but your on and off switches just have a little bit of brass connectors on them. I do have several different styles. Just gonna quickly show one. Here it is. So this is what it's gonna look like, okay? On this, once I just remove, this is off of a different style, but I just wanna show you just to speed it up, okay? But once I pull the brass prongs off of it, there is some brass in here that you see, and I will take that off. Very simple. All I actually could do if I really wanted, instead of opening this up, is take the brass, twist it, okay? And there it is. There's a little piece of brass. Some of them are copper, and as you can see, if I put that up to the camera, this one is copper. So look at it for sure. So again, this is gonna be number 1 copper. Some of them are brass, but on and off switches, you do see a few right here. And again, they will also have a small bit of brass. But hopefully you like that. Like I said, quick video for sure, but very easy to take apart. You know, I do find them. Make sure you check to see if they work first. Could be just a burnt out light bulb, and you will obviously sell them higher value in good workable condition. So hope you enjoyed that. Please comment down below, like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Tin Man out.